In the darkest moments, when even great memories are hard to bear, character is what remains and stands above everything else.
You can find triumph in tragedy. It's important to realize that even though we go through hard things in life, we can come through them and be positive through them. And yes, they're going to be trying, they're going to be difficult, but they can also be for our good. They can refine us, they can make us who we are.
Who Shawn Bradley is a former Dallas Mavericks star.
Shawn Bradley.
Who at 7'6",
Here's the lob for Bradley.
Even in a league filled with giants, stood head and shoulders above the rest and willingly took their best shot.
Into the scoop, it's blocked away.
One of the things that I'm kind of proud of when people come up, the really good fans are like, you know, Shawn, you didn't back away from anybody.
Has it blocked by Bradley.
You know, if Shaq was going to dunk on you, you went up with it, you tried to block it, and sometimes you got it, and a lot of times you didn't. But that's one thing I wouldn't do. I'd try to block everything, and if I got dunked on, I got dunked on, and if I blocked it, then even better.
Grit and a never surrender attitude that's become even more important in Bradley's post-basketball life after an accident changed his world in an instant.
I went from being a professional athlete and loving playing basketball, and then, you know, retiring, cycling, being active, doing things, traveling, carrying the kids, and to suddenly, in a second, not being able to do 90% of what we love doing in life.
911, severe emergency.
There was a biker, I don't know if he got hit.
On January 20th, 2021, only about 100 yards from his home in St. George, Utah, Shawn was riding his bicycle when a vehicle hit him from behind.
That initial impact wasn't a big deal. That happens on occasion, unfortunately. But what it did was push me into a parked car. And that's where I don't remember what happened next, other than tumbling in space and then looking up at the sky and not being able to move and barely being able to breathe.
Something, bro. Is it from laying on that floor made it worse?
I mean, even for weeks, they really didn't process. You know, I'm cleaning up his bike, and his bike looked normal. The only thing that was wrong with it was the right handlebar had fallen off. So I'm, you know, lugging his bike back and putting it in the back of the truck. And by the time I got to the hospital, they got him, I mean, in surgery, literally from the accident to in surgery in just over an hour. It was unbelievable.
Unbelievable and unprecedented. Shawn had suffered a spinal cord injury that left him paralyzed from the chest down. And because of his size, had doctors searching for answers about how to properly treat what is believed to be the largest spinal cord injury ever on record.
I remember just thinking, oh my God, what happened? You know, how bad is it? And when you hear he's, you know, paralyzed, totally, you know, and the word was complete quadriplegic, your heart just drops.
Smile and a kiss.
There's only 30 people in the world that are 7'6" or taller, so someone having this level of injury and paralysis at my size could very possibly be the first ever. The doctors that were doing the surgery, they said, well, it's the same as the other stuff, it's just you got a little larger vertebrae and your spinal cord is a little bigger than most, but it's the same process, so they were okay. The rehabilitation part of it, once I'm out of that, the beds aren't long enough, they had to rig things at the end of the bed. I mean, it was custom from the beginning, and it was kind of a scramble because what do we do?
What Shawn and his wife Carrie did was proactively emphasize attitude, faith, and positivity, prioritizing seemingly small victories that in actuality represented enormous progress.
What can I try new today? The other day it was as simple as leaning forward and trying to open a door facing it rather than to the side, and I was able to do it. It was a huge, you'd have thought I won the championship because that was a big deal. We're learning every day new things to do and how to do new things. I mean, I put this shirt on today, the best I've ever put a shirt on by myself. Usually I need help. I only need a little tiny help today, but that's a big deal for me. That's a big deal for us.
You know, we wouldn't have met certain people that we've met. We wouldn't have heard stories. We wouldn't have gone through things and places without the accident. And so we started taking selfies, and I'm up to, I think, 100,000 selfies of amazing stories and people that we've met. And on the hard days, we look back and say, oh, you know what? ours could be worse. Look at you.
Happy times that help as he faces the physical toll of rehabilitation,
Good, same time, I like it.
which he attends multiple times a week, but also assist in the equally challenging mental and emotional strain of his new circumstance. Heartache that contributed to Shawn waiting more than a year before finally being able to bring himself to again watch the Dallas Mavericks play the game he loves in person.
Way to be aggressive. Good job. I like that aggressiveness. That's good.
Taking in a game in the American Airlines Center in 2022 from his new perspective and new reality.
Coming here to Dallas the first couple of times and watching those games, I just have to say it was exponentially emotional. But it wasn't a woe is me, I'm so sad that I can't do things anymore. It was emotional in that I was excited to see the guys play. I was excited to reconnect with some old teammates and friends.
Opening those doors so that Shawn Bradley and other former Mavs can come and be part of it, and knowing that because he has a special motorized chair, that's not going to be a problem, right? That he's still welcome and the doors are open, and it's not like, okay, we got to deal with Shawn. It's okay, come on, Shawn, let's go. And and it's always fun.
And while watching basketball again was a big step in his emotional recovery and focusing on what he and his wife describe as a Candyland positive attitude has produced real results, the reality of the situation remains. Life is now more difficult for Shawn Bradley as he continues to learn how to navigate through his new circumstance, hoping his character and never surrender attitude is standing head and shoulders above those challenges while still remembering back to when he once towered above the competition in the NBA.
When I dream in the middle of the night, I'm never in a chair. Like my night dreams, I'm never in a chair. I'm always walking. So I wake up going, oh, that was a good experience, but now I got to deal with it.